Hey, what's up guys? John here. Starting in 2025, Australia will begin taxing unrealized gains. This is also planned and scheduled for America.
What's under consideration is a tax on unrealized capital gains.
Fiscal year 2025, which is only 5 months from now. This is going to fly by. Now they say that this is only going to be targeting the millionaires and the really, really wealthy people. Australia is saying Australia will begin taxing unrealized gains in employee pension funds with balances over 3 million, which is 2 million here, right? So when you look at this, what is that really with retiring today? If you're 60 years old or 65 years old and you need to make it 20 years or 30 years, getting hit with a massive tax on that savings that you've worked your entire life to build, that's going to really, really hurt a lot of people. Now, when you look at what they're planning here in America, it's far worse than what's unfolding right now in Australia. The Economist is covering this. Next year, Australia will start taxing unrealized gains in employee pension fund accounts with balances of more than Australia 3 million, 2 million. So I'm going to show you what's unfolding here in America to help you and position you for what I think is going to be a structural change in the job market. Millionaires, billionaires, large corporations are going to be looking at this very, very closely, and I believe they're going to be investing heavily in their infrastructure to offset a lot of tax liability, which is not going to be good for jobs. I'm going to break it down and give you the facts. Please hit the like button, hit the like button. YouTube will share this content, educate more people about what's unfolding here in America. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for this massive wealth transfer, maybe you're thinking about investing in distressed real estate, buying a business, we'd love to help you if you have any credit issues. Late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any issue at all like that in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com, click the link in the description just below this video, schedule a free call for tomorrow. Take a look at this. So, unrealized gains, taxes and economic fallacy. Now, what they say here is that taxing unrealized gains, imagine you buy a house for $300,000 and now they say the house is worth $600,000. There's an unrealized gain of $300,000. If you don't have the cash to pay taxes on that unrealized gain, you never put that money in your pocket, then what does that mean? It means that property is going to be going on the market. That's what it means. And if you have millions of people that are being pushed out of the jobs, pushed out of the workforce, and getting taxed, what is this going to do? It's going to disrupt everything. And they say it's not just property and stock. It could be, they're talking about businesses, taxing businesses, the valuation of companies. There's the $7.3 trillion budget proposal, such as a federal tax. Now, some people will say, oh, look, it's going to be when Kamala might step in, or Trump, or somebody else. It's possible. But if you look at Kamala Harris, she's saying additionally, fiscal year 2025, the budget includes a novel minimum tax on high wealth individuals designed to bring unrealized capital gains into the income tax system. Forbes saying the same thing, unrealized gains, a coming sea change in fiscal year 2025 budget proposal. In President Joe Biden's proposal, in the fiscal year 2025 budget of the United States government, and more specifically in the general explanations of the administration fiscal year 2025 revenue proposal, the Biden administration has proposed a slate of bold shifts in tax policy that could redefine high income tax planning and investment strategies. Now, this number, they say, is if you have a $100 million net worth. So if you're worth $100 million, now you could have a company, and that company could be generating, let's call it $800,000 a month in gross income, $10 million a year. At a 10x multiple, it's a $100 million asset. They could view that person as someone that is worth $100 million. Maybe they have other homes, maybe they have other property, land, they have stocks. What is this person going to do? They get hit with a massive, massive tax bill. Talking an 8-figure tax bill. Most of these people don't have the money. They're going to be cutting jobs to offset this. They're going to maybe even close their business, sell their business. They're going to invest in their business through automation, through technology, through robotics. Because when they do it that way, they can, for example, with automation, the automation equipment must be used for business purposes 50% of the time for a 179 deduction. Or for robotics, you can write off the entire cost of your robotics automation investment in the year you integrate it. That's what they're going to start doing. A lot of these companies are going to start doing it. Look at Jeff Bezos, for example. He employs 1.5 million people. They just invested in 750,000 robots throughout their factories. They're working on drone technology to expedite deliveries. They're going to start finding all of these different ways. If you look at Amazon, they don't show any gains. They're usually showing a loss, paying zero tax, and they're doing it in accordance with their goals for the company. Now, when you look at what this is going to mean, it's going to mean the smart people are going to get smarter. They're going to have tax teams, legal teams. They're going to take advantage of this, and they're going to make more money than ever because of it. And they're going to find loopholes to circumvent any of these taxes. Whereas a lot of the everyday Americans that are working for these large companies could likely get pushed out of a job because these businesses are going to be restructuring in a way to offset this tax liability. Among the most striking initiatives is fiscal year 2025 budget proposal is a set of proposals taxing unrealized gains, a concept generally absent in the tax framework due to valuation complexities, liquidity concerns, and the overall challenge of implementation. The proposal aimed at ensuring tax fairness could fundamentally alter how assets are valued and taxed in the United States. Unrealized gains are increases in the value of an asset that has not yet been realized, either through the sale or deemed realization event. They are simply put, the increase in the valuation of an asset on paper. Lending complexities to the analysis, however, is the fact that unrealized gains can be used as collateral to borrow against, thereby making an unrealized gain an interest in a given piece of property, potentially an accession to wealth for a given taxpayer. Now, they give an example of a billionaire, and they generally always give an example of a billionaire because why? Well, because billionaires are easy to hate. And if people, already don't like them, you realize billionaires are billionaires for a reason. They supply a lot of economic output. They are producing a lot of jobs. You don't see one man or one woman show a, self-made billionaire and doing it by themselves. They generally create a lot of value in an economy to get that status of a billionaire. And, now they say eat the rich and, billionaires are horrible. But at the end of the day, billionaires are going to be billionaires. They're going to find ways in which they're going to continue to grow their wealth and grow their power. And they're going to be doing that, I think, a lot of them will be doing it through, as I mentioned, automation, robotics, and outsourcing, job outsourcing, moving their business overseas. They're going to find ways to do this. But they use the billionaire example. The reality is it's anyone with a $100 million net worth or more. $100 million net worth or more. And so they say that in this example, let's say that they have a stock that they bought for $1, now it's $1,000 a share. They would essentially get taxed the entire capital gains rate, and they're increasing the capital gains rate for this upcoming fiscal year tax proposal. So they say however, we consider the fact that the aforementioned billionaire could borrow money using the appreciated stock as collateral, perhaps say to purchase a social media company, we might feel somewhat differently. After all, absent some mechanism by which the billionaire can be taxed, they can, at least in theory, defer ever realizing their gain by continually borrowing against their stock rather than selling any of it. The policy's proposal in the fiscal year 2025 budget target extremely high net worth individuals and entities attempting to ensure wealth accumulation. I thought America was a country where you would come to accumulate wealth. People would come from all over the world. They would come to provide a better life for themselves, their family. They would come here to work hard and to make this country amazing. Well, when the country is turning into the direction that we are turning, do you think a lot of people are going to want to continue to come here? A lot of people that are going to be supplying a lot of these jobs? Or do you think they are going to be relocating? They're going to be taking that ambitious mindset to a different location that's going to benefit them. I would think that we're going to likely lose a lot of great people with these types of tax policies. The general principle behind equitable taxation is that a broad base is to be preferred over higher rates. In other words, increasing tax revenue without imposing additional burdens on middle or low income brackets. Well, middle and low income households generally work for businesses that are profitable. $800,000 a month, $1 million a month for a large or medium-sized business is not that great anymore. It sounds like a lot, but if you think about it, if you make $800,000 a month and you're operating on 10% margins, 20% margin, making $80,000, $160,000 a month, sounds like a lot, right? But that business owner is taking on a lot of exposure, a lot of risk. And so when you start to look at what is, really how wealthy that individual is, they're not sitting on $100 million in cash. If they were to sell the business, sure, they would get a nice payout. But you start to think about what this means for the everyday American that works for that company. A lot of these people are going to get laid off. And the person that has that $100 million company, valued $100 million, they're going to find a way in which to monetize this problem, because that's what smart entrepreneurs do. They pivot and navigate before the storm. They're going to find a way in which they're going to be able to, thrive and grow during the chaos. And who's going to get left behind? The lower and middle income. That's who's going to be left behind, and that's most Americans today. Among the proposal is a plan to tax the unrealized gain on a trust, partnership, or other non-corporate entity that has not been subject to a tax recognition event in the previous 90 years, something of a one-time tax true-up for complex tax structures and that have been growing untaxed for generations. Ultimately, tax policy must follow the market, and that's where the tax revenue is. The market is called for a reconceptualization of policy to bring unrealized gains under the tax base. The proposal responds to an ever-evolving economic landscape wherein the accumulation of wealth can and does bypass traditional taxation mechanisms. So I mean, this is a nightmare coming to America. And America right now is already sitting in a world of problems. We're printing essentially $1 trillion every 100 days. Taxing unrealized gains is the last thing that America needs. It's the last thing any of us need. We need to control the spending, stop sending our money everywhere else and doing a lot of different things that we probably shouldn't be doing, and instead allowing our people to thrive. What do you think about this entire situation? Where do you see all of this going? The bigger this tax movement goes, the smaller the American people go. If you need help fixing your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any issue at all like that in your credit report, we'd love to help you. We live in a crazy, crazy world, and I think things are going to get a lot crazier. Catch you next video.